You know, if there's one thing I've learned about professionals is they never give away their secrets unless you have unspeakable blackmail over them that you wield to help them make a YouTube video.
Oh, buddy.
Let me introduce you to my friend, Adam Lastivka. We are here with his demo song that you've been working on. What do we got here?
Well, there's a collaborator I've been working with for almost 5 years now. Her name's Lilu.
Shout out to Lilu.
Shout out to Lilu.
It's our new band.
She's my girl.
Mm-hmm.
We've never met.
Until now. Yeah,
Until
this is
now.
Your week.
And we always wrote remotely. I would write a thing. She would do some lyrics. We'd just go back and forth, and we've been very productive.
Amazing.
But we decided to write a song in real human life.
Human life. And you live in Vancouver.
I live
So you
in
guys
Vancouver.
are both here in Los Angeles visiting.
Yeah.
So you've got a mobile rig. So he's going to kind of walk through how he made this demo. Talk about the difference between a demo and a finished piece of music. This guy's the real deal. He's actually solo composing all the music for the new Gears of War game coming out soon-ish. And he's done tons of sync plays. So I'm just going to hype him up because this is my boy. And he doesn't hype himself up. This is the best producer in the world right here. That's what you're getting. And Sweetwater and Adams are sponsoring this video because we are going to be listening and referencing this mix on the Adams Anniversary A7 monitors, which you know a thing or two about as well.
Absolutely. I worked on them for years. I did most of Travelers Season 2.
So Travelers was a television show that he was a main composer on.
Adam A7.
There you go, Adam A7. So that's what's up.
We're going to stay consistent with the true mobile vibe.
Okay,
And
which is why we're on the ground.
We're
by
on
the
the
way.
ground.
We are nomadic musicians.
In our lotus poses.
That's right. We have the option to sit in chairs.
We have Topo Chico.
With a little lime.
A little lime. Oh, a little lime. A whisper of lime.
A whisper of lime.
A whisper of lime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to walk you guys through kind of how we wrote everything. So
Alright.
I just had a little melodic idea, and we started playing it, and then we started kind of just feeding off. And when Lilu was doing it, she was just mumbling nonsense, musical nonsense.
That's what she
sounded
does.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So we started with this idea. And that just kind of repeats, and we just called that sort of the verse. And then it moved into our sort of pre-chorus section, then chorus, and then the whole structure of the song just repeats twice, because that's simple. But
All right.
we wrote it on acoustic guitar. I'm going to play through the whole song.
All right, let's do it.
We're just going to sit here and sip on Topo Chico.
I love
or
it. Listen to these
fur pillows.
some Sweetwater candies.
As soon as it doesn't go your way, it's easy to say yourself for things that can't walk away. Fast scars and dive bars where you fit right in to find quick love and your boys who overcompensate. Did you tell them that you call me when you're drunk? I shit begging for love that you never knew how to get. Ghosts living in it, knows your comfort where works the wife you actually give commandment.
Okay, so that's all we have so far.
Love it. Sounds great.
Just as a little process thing, I recorded all the guitar parts with the DPA 4099 and this guitar fixed right here.
Okay.
And-
So very portable rig, just like a somewhat inexpensive D'Angelico.
And the thing about the DPA is it's hypercardioid, and the rejection pattern on it is ridiculous. You can be in you can have the dishwasher running behind you, and it just won't even know it's there.
I've played live shows outside with that hooked up to an acoustic guitar, and it's
Yeah, this is
No
my
feedback.
favorite instrument mic, just for many reasons. It sounds great, and you can just stick it anywhere.
A lot of classical players use this in orchestras also.
So what happened was we wrote the song together. I went back to my tiny little mobile rig. I'm not using any more equipment than what you're seeing here. I literally just plugged the DPA directly into the preamp.
Yep, an Arturia mini fuse. It's super small.
The guitar section is where I started, and that's what she sort of sang on. So it's just these parts.
Detune.
Drop C.
Drop C.
Song to F sharp. But then when it came to getting the production and the energy, when you're on a mobile rig, you just don't have your stuff. You can't play parts. You're on everything's restricted and constrained, and that kind of makes it interesting and exciting because you have to, everything's going to be kind of temp. I'm probably going to use those guitars in the end, but I'll end up adding a lot of other layers to them.
I mean, the funny thing is that, and even just a demo versus a final, how many tracks are in the session right now?
50, but in this process, I'm not I'm not economizing. I'm not making an attempt to distill because I'm just trying to get as much of a presentation of sound as I can so that when she sings it, she can get the idea, the energy.
Okay.
So some of the things that are happening musically, I like doing a hybrid of, live instruments always. I always like to make that the core of what I'm doing so you get the actual human energy in a track. But then just using synthesis in interesting ways that sounds more live and adds to the feel and adds as a complement rather than something that stands out on its own where you might not even know that it's a synth. A lot of things for instance, I made this little sound in Serum. I just started with a preset and then just dialed the envelope on it, and it sounds ridiculous on its own. But when you get it layered, so I've layered this with some brass parts. And it's just a little complement part, so when you put it she was performing, her vocals fed off that a little bit, for sure.
Just a way to kind of excite an additional analog performance from that.
Yeah, and once you get those weird layers, if I layer this and isolate it with the bass and the guitar. That just kind of adds the sauce.
Sounds amazing. And you do also with this little super inexpensive Arturia interface.
Yeah,
that's
all the audio
that's crazy to me.
Recorded in there. Now, other things I like to do just for production are there's a lot of really good sample libraries that just kind of do stuff, and you can start layering those underneath things. For instance, I'm using sample drums, which I'll always layer live drums in with stuff if I can. But using these pre-made samples underneath, this is just something they're called infinity samples. You layer that underneath and you mix it in a certain way. And that just adds that kind of boiling tension underneath everything. So when you listen to the love that you never knew how to get. So without that, you still have the effect, but
scars and dive bars where you fit right in to find quick love or compensate. Did you tell them that you
but it just doesn't boil underneath enough. So
definitely
using things like filters, opening, and different pitch risers and stuff that's unconventional, and that you would use these for film trailers and stuff like that. It just fits into production. You can't really restrict your production creativity with the limitation of genre because you never know what could be reapplied.
So are you like adding automation to these when you do that? Like, what's the...
Yeah, in a lot of instances, I mean, maybe, yeah, here I've just done a really basic filter open. You can see right there, it's just a filter cut off. I really like this
Do you
one.
draw it in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because, I forgot to travel with my knobs.
Your
which is
knobs.
something.
It's always,
Yeah. It's just another restriction that you're forced to do.
Mm-hmm.
A couple, maybe I'll just talk about a couple plugins here.
For sure.
I really like this one. It's just like, it's from, jeez, who even makes Synapse Audio. It's just a Hans Zimmer exclusive patch release of it, and there's some really cool stuff in here. It just sounds like a Moog on steroids. So really simple, kind of amusical things that kind of trigger your limbic system, built around what you want to be achieving emotionally and sonically within the track. So you want to trigger that sort of tension, and there's like just this pedal tone going underneath all the harmonies that is just like bringing you back, and it's like that makes that whole section kind of feel like it's boiling. And then I did a little reverse swoop up here, and then into the chorus, which is a total contrast emotionally and lyrically and sonically and in every way. Couple things in here that I'm using. Again, it's all just demo stuff, so you get what you can. I really love these drums from Teletone Audio.
Okay.
Both electro and tempo do really cool stuff because the samples are awesome. You have full control over each sample within there sonically, and like you can color them as much as you want. And it has a really cool sequencer built in that has feel, spread, tune, decay, so you can get really articulate.
Okay, so did you build the drum pattern in the sequencer?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So just to kind of, because I use these samples that I really like from these guys called That Sound. They do really organic, just really real sounding, weird, interestingly produced drums. And then so the drums are just basically that. Now, a couple of my favorites, I mean, I absolutely love Easy Mix when you're on, like, for demo stuff, because you can do entire signal chains. Like, you can't do a lot of tweaking, which sucks, but if you just want to find out what something might sound like, and again, with this all being demo, you can go back and reprocess it later if you can even make it sound better. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the basics of how it all comes together.
How about, can we talk about the acoustic guitars real quick? Like, what did you do? Are these, like, what did you do to the acoustic guitars?
So, for these, there's a lot of stuff going on. I absolutely love this plugin. This is from Technovation. It's just it's an AI plugin.
Oh
but
my.
It's, the Skynet plugin. But it learns.
That's what AI does.
So if you just hit Mix Assist. Now this is a really... It's so subtle, but it's staggeringly useful at the same time. Like, it just kind of gets rid of that resonance in the crust, and with this new update on it, you can do a little more isolation, but it just learns it so quick, and it's like immediately cleaning everything
So
up.
it just learns problematic frequencies for an acoustic guitar, and then just...
anything you plug it into. Like, I believe I've just put it on the vocal track here. So on the guitars, basically I just multi-track, panned, so just contrasting some parts. And then I'm just holding one note on here, and I ran that through Easy Mix on an electric guitar plugin. And I haven't moved the mic on this at all, so
Okay.
I've done a lot of sort of EQ sculpting where it's necessary just to make sure that the voices are kind of contrasting.
What EQ do you use for that?
I absolutely love Fab Filter and...
Basic.
Oh, come
So basic.
That's all the guy needs. Then bass parts are really simple. A couple things I really like for bass. People don't they just don't make enough good bass plugins, but these are two that I think are phenomenal. This is the bass knob from those guys.
Great. All right.
Big endorsement. STL Tones, is that them? No, that's not STL Tones. That's
The STD Classic. That's my man's nickname in college. That was it. Classic Adam. Bogren, there we go.
Got to the bottom of the STD Classic.
Love it.
But from Leapwing Audio, these are really powerful plugins.
So that was my Warwick thumb bass that you used on that one, right?
Yeah.
Just DI into the Arturia.
Yeah, straight in. And bass is so... People just don't appreciate how much weight and how much live feel it can add to a track. Like, just...
Quick love and your boys who are compensate. Did you tell them that you call me when you're drunk at shit, begging for love that you
It just adds so much power and girth.
So good.
Yep. But yeah, this plugin, Leapwing stuff is great. It's really weird on the DSP, but it goes hard, and you have a lot of control over... Like, if I just show you the variety within just changing some of the presets on the bass sound here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so much sonic potential within that. Big fan of the bass.
Quick love and your boys who...
Anything else you want to ask?
I guess I want to ask, more than anything, what separates this as a demo from like something that you would actually like release and like have just be done? I think that's like a question a lot of people have. Because this sounds great to me.
Yeah, I guess the big thing is when you start referencing it against other tracks. Like, because firstly, when I'm tracking this, I can't monitor to the same extent that I would if I was in my studio. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that, just from lack of familiarity, it might be hard for me to hear. It really helps having an actual set of monitors.
Now
here.
you're not speaking of these. I mean,
Yeah.
the nice thing about these is they have DSP built into them, so you can somewhat tune them to your room.
Right.
Which I think is like the most important thing that people don't really understand. That was a big eye opener for me.
So as soon as I plugged this in, I started hearing stuff that I was like...
Because you did this on headphones when you
Yeah.
were tracking it, and then
Yeah.
we brought it in and hooked his rig up to the Atoms.
Yeah. So I've been just sitting here and like kind of mixing things. But I will say when you're mixing blind in a way, there are a lot of fantastic tools that can, like the old adage of you can't mix visually, I think has gone out the window because mixed visualization has come such a long way. Mixed referencing has come such a long way. Like if you import a track and use this Metric AB plugin, wherever that might be, then it almost it matters far less as long as you can know what you're hearing on what it is that you're hearing, and then you're not going to be fooled by this. But referencing with visual mixing has come such a long way that it's something that enables you. So, I mean, to get back to your question of, like, what's the difference between this and the master? I mean, I'm constrained here. I don't have a fraction of what I have normal access to. I'm using a lot of presets and a lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally want to rely on, but it helps get ideas going. So likely what I might do is recreate a lot of these sounds that I'm using and try to get a little bit more uniqueness and a little bit more edge out of them. Also, a lot of stuff, what I've done is just absolute placeholders. So what you might hear, like, to someone who is just hearing this, it'd be like, well, that's like a fine enough production. But I mean, Lilu is definitely not happy with her vocal performance. that was just like, I guess the big thing is that it might just be pure nuance after a certain point. Once I clean it up and redo some parts, it's still the same song, it's still the same production. It's just I have access to a lot more stuff that I think gives me more control and more detail and
Okay.
more nuance.
Just to really get in there and just fine tune every little thing.
Yeah, because the thing about production is that it's essentially it's a performance. It's feeding off every single element in a way that you have to pay attention to it, and you have to find ways to enhance it. And this is sort of just a blunt process. You could do a full production this way. I mean, I don't work mobile a lot, but I think if I was forced to more, you could finalize a production with just exactly what we're using, and it could be totally professional, and no one would ever tell the difference.
How long did it take you to put all this together? Songwriting aside,
we wrote the song in about an hour. I can't speak for how long Lilu spent refining lyrics. I think she spent probably another hour on that. I sat down and I recorded the guitars in about an hour because I was also just kind of refining the structure and the arrangement. And then I just started playing with production. I'd say there's maybe like 4 or 5 hours total work just gone into...
It's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's fun.
Good job. This guy right here, this guy's the real deal. And after 4 or 5 more videos, you'll be fully relieved of your debt to me. The blackmail will be gone. At the STD Classic, we'll live to fight another day. And we will be all square. So thank you for this insight. This is phenomenal, dude. Show this guy some love. Thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this with the Adams monitors. Check those out. These are like a special edition Stormtrooper white, which I think adds some class to this joint. What do you think?
Yeah, it fits. It fits right in.
It's just right. So yeah, I'll have affiliate links for everything in the description. Anything you get, please get through my Sweetwater affiliate. It really helps me out. And I will talk to you guys later.
My man.